So imagine getting paged at 3 in the morning because a critical server just crashed.
Oh, the absolute worst.
Right. As a security analyst, you usually have to drag yourself out of bed and spend, I don't know, 2 hours manually digging through logs across 3 different systems just to figure out what happened.
Yeah, and you're half asleep while doing it.
Exactly.
Huh.
So today we're doing a deep dive into some lab notes on OpsRabbit's use case 2. And it's basically a tool designed to do all that digging before you even open your laptop.
Right. It's the core mission is automating read-only investigations following a Wazuh alert.
Yeah.
And the key there is aiming to empower the human security analyst, not replace them.
I like to think of it as like a digital detective. It secures the crime scene and organizes the entire evidence file right before the investigator arrives.
That's a great analogy. And to really put this detective to the test, the controlled lab setup they used here is, well, it's deliberately terrifying.
Yeah, I was reading that. Why is this detective working in such a vulnerable environment? Like, there are no standard enterprise protected controls at all.
None. There's no WAF, no web application firewalls, no perimeter firewalls, no load balancers, just a completely naked server.
Wow.
And they did that strictly to demonstrate the tool's cross-layer investigation capabilities. It's not about preventing a denial of service attack here. It's about seeing if the tool can figure it out without relying on, a simple firewall block log.
Right, because without those standard alarms, it has to dig deeper. So let's get into the step-by-step analysis walkthrough. We have a specific Wazuh alert firing off. I have the facts here. It's alert ID 1T87116468.1000647003, which is rule 100-500.
Yeah, and look at the verdict it gave. It didn't just panic. It carefully stated suspicious activity requiring validation, medium confidence.
Medium confidence. That's refreshing. Usually these tools just flag everything as critical.
Exactly. It specifically noted that the Linux Web 01 server lost availability for its checkout application. And it figured out this was from repeated OM, or out-of-memory kills, driven by a specific internal source.
Right, the 10.0.4.196 IP address.
Yep. And it did this by tracing a very exact timeline.
Okay, walk me through that timeline.
So it starts at exactly 05.12.58Z with a sample of Nginx requests. Then it sees these repeated OM kills. The system actually forced the security lab checkout service to restart 50 times.
50 restarts. That's just brutal.
It really is. But it tracked all of that right through to a post-alert low-load recovery state.
So what was the actual host evidence it pulled to put that together?
Yeah.
Like I saw in the notes, it checked the host up status and then looked at active processes.
Right. Specifically, it flagged PID 99958. It saw that process hitting its 100 megabyte memory max.
Yeah.
And then it queried the Nginx access logs and pulled a 200 record sample from that 10.0.4196 IP.
Yeah, and 199 of those records returned 503 errors.
Yeah.
But wait, is 200 records the total attack? 'Cause that seems really low to crash a server.
Oh, no, it's definitely not the total. And this is actually why the confidence is bounded at medium. There was a failed aggregate query.
Oh, is that the J-key shell quoting error mentioned in the notes?
Exactly. It's like your digital detective dropped their notepad in the middle of a vital interview. Because of that tiny JQ formatting bug, the tool couldn't pull the total network flow counts.
Ah, okay. So the totals are missing. But it still managed to map out the attack story, right? How does OpsRabbit actually connect those Nginx 503 failures with the upstream Python OOM kills?
Well, it looks at the Nginx proxy configuration. It sees that Nginx is trying to hand off requests to the Python app, but the app is dead from memory exhaustion. So Nginx throws a 503 service unavailable error back to the user. OpsRabbit connects those two things to construct its medium confidence inference.
That is so smart. And because of the missing totals, when it maps this to MITRE, ATT&CK, it's super careful.
Right.
It points to T1499.002, the service exhaustion flood, and T1T99 for endpoint DoS, but strictly labels them as plausible.
Yeah, it confirms the defining behaviors, but it knows its own evidentiary limits, which is why the scope breakdown is so transparent.
Right, it breaks it down into categories, like confirmed affected for the web host, suspected for that 10.0.4.196 IP.
Yeah, and it explicitly lists what is checked. Like it verified there was no evidence of an Nginx restart and what is not checked, which includes those missing network flow totals and source process activity.
So it knows exactly what it doesn't know.
Exactly.
And that leads right into the response recommendations. Because this is not a confirmed critical attack, the next steps are all approval gated.
Right. It's handing the human analyst a clear to-do list. Validate the owner of 10.0.4.196, preserve the event aggregates, implement request limits, and, just monitor for recurrence.
So tying this all back to the big picture, OpsRabbit's ultimate value here is performing these cross-domain investigations with production-grade telemetry. It gives you the full story.
Yeah, it completely changes the starting line for an incident responder.
It really does. And it leaves me with this thought. If this tool can extract this much nuanced context from a single, completely isolated, vulnerable endpoint in a lab,
Right.
how drastically would enterprise response time shrink when this tool actually correlates WAF and firewall telemetry before a human even clicks the alert?